I'm in quarantine, so I can't be with you to present my literary review topic, but I can over video. So I'm going over my PowerPoint, and I'll just read what everything says and tell you what I wrote about. Okay. I chose a topic that I'm very passionate about, and it involves those with disabilities. My inquiry question is kind of in two parts. Are people with disabilities being treated fairly? Should people with disabilities be treated equally and given the same opportunities as everyone else? And to me, it is simple. It's a simple yes. Those who are disabled are often seen negatively and are viewed as incompetent. Some people believe that because a person is different and because a person has a disability, they are stupid, inhumane, and shouldn't be treated as equals. I personally believe this to be false. So when I dove into my research, I found 5 articles that supported my views and proved this common notion to be both ignorant and simply not true. Each author touched on the fact that a person's disability is such a small part of who they are. Those of able bodies, us, people like us who don't have a disability, should look at a person as a person and look past the fact that they have a disability. Those with disabilities are people too and deserve to be treated as such. So now I will go through what kind of each of my authors said. So before I get into why those with disabilities should be treated fairly and given the equal opportunities, one must look at the history. So 2 of my authors, Joe Bubar and Craig Collins, they both focused on the history of those with disabilities and their discrimination. They were often treated not as human beings, but as dangerous objects in society. They could be barred and not allowed to ride buses, go to schools, and just this littlest opportunities that we take for granted. Joe Bubar gives the example of a woman named Judy Heumann all throughout his essay. And it really touched me and moved me, and I'll tell you why. When Judy Heumann was little, she contracted polio, leaving her in a wheelchair. She was told that she didn't belong in the world and that she was a hazard by her very own principal. When she was finally allowed to go to school, she was kept in the basement, far away from the others, because they were afraid what she would do to them. Craig Collins focused on how those with disabilities were tired of being silenced. So they took matters into their own hands. They did marches and events such as the Capitol Crawl. The Capitol Crawl was an event when people threw themselves out of their wheelchairs and crawled up the steps of the United States Capitol just to illustrate the daily struggles those with disabilities are faced with. This brought their everyday struggles to life and showed how unfair and unkind the world is to those with disabilities. And Congress made the monumental decision to pass the ADA, or the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was under that act that proved that those with disabilities are human and deserve to be treated as such. It also made it illegal to discriminate, which made those with disabilities feel more united and feel more happy and have a sense of belonging. That's where my other authors come in, with the view of they should have the same opportunities as others. Amanda Morin, who is a school teacher who has 2 children of her own with disabilities, focused on how the notions of the past are wrong and that everyone belongs in the classroom and in society, no matter what disability they may have. So I really love that. And she focused on how a teacher's main goal should be to make sure that every student thrives, no matter what difficulties and challenges they have, because everyone has challenges in life. So that's 3 of my authors. One of them is the IDHS. The IDHS focused on how to interact and talk to those with disabilities. They brought to light that often people use labels associate those with disabilities with labels. And that's not fair. Labels are damaging to everyone, not just those with disabilities. And I forgot to say this, but before I introduced the IDHS in my literary review, I shared the example of job opportunities. And that's where my last author, Bethany Butler, comes in. She shares an example of the entertainment industry. She states that a lot of directors are choosing to incorporate those with disabilities into their works, which is a great thing. But they are often making the wrong decisions. They choose to cast able-bodied actors into disabled character roles, which shouldn't always be okay. She isn't saying that every disabled character should be played by a disabled person, but they at least need a chance. For the world to be this united place that everyone says it should be, everyone deserves a chance. And so my ending statement is this. I think everyone should just be kinder to everyone and not look at someone for a disability. Look past that and just be kind, because everyone's human and everyone deserves kindness, respect, and the same opportunities.